Hi, I am Siddharth. I am here to tell about COA topic, high performing languages for parallel computing. First of all, what is parallel computing? Parallel computing is a type of computation in which many calculations or processes are carried out simultaneously. Large problems can often be divided into smaller ones, which can then be solved at the same time. These are several different forms of parallel computing: bit level, instruction level, data, and task parallelism. A parallelism has long been employed in high performance computing, but has gained broader interest due to physical constraints preventing frequency scaling, as power consumption and consequently heat generation by computers has become a concern in recent years. Parallel computing has become the dominant paradigm in computer architecture, mainly in the form of multi-core processes. Parallel computing is closely related to concurrent computing. They are frequently used together and often conflated through the two are distinct. It is possible to have parallelism without concurrency, such as bit level parallelism, and concurrency without parallelism, such as multitasking by time sharing on single core CPU. In parallel computing, a computational task is typically broken down into several, often many very similar subtasks that can be processed independently and whose results are combined afterwards upon completion. In in contrast, in concurrent computing, the various processes often do not address related tasks. Why they do, as in as is typical in distributed computing. The separate tasks may have varied nature and often required some interprocessor communication during execution. Parallel computers can be roughly classified according to the level at which hardware supports parallelism. With multi-core and multiprocessor computers having multiple processing elements within a single mission, which while clusters, MPPs, and grids use multiple computers to work on the same task. Specialized parallel computer architectures are sometimes used alongside traditional processes for accelerating specific tasks. In some cases, parallelism is transparent to the programmer, such as in bit level or construction level parallelism. But explicitly, parallel algorithms, particularly those that use concurrency, are more difficult to write than sequential ones because concurrency introduces several new classes of potential software bugs, of which race conditions are most common. Communication and synchronization between the different subtasks are typically some of the greatest obstacles to getting optimal parallel program performance. A theoretical upper bound on the speed up of single program as a result of parallelization is given by Adam's law. Amdam's law. The classes of parallel computing. Parallel computers can be roughly classified according to the level at which the hardware supports parallelism. This classification is broadly analogous to the distance between basic computing nodes. These are not mutually exclusive. For example, clusters of symmetric multiprocessors are relatively common. Multi-core computing. A multi-core processor is a processor that includes multiple processing units, which are called as cores, on the same core. This processor differ from superscalar processor, which includes multiple execution units and can issue multiple instructions per clock cycle from one instruction stream. In contrast, a multi-core processor can issue multiple instructions per clock cycle from multiple instruction streams. IBM Cell microprocessor designed for use in Sony PlayStation 3 is a prominent multi-core processor. Each core in multi-core processor can potentially be superscalar as well. This is on every clock cycle. Each core can issue multiple instructions from one thread. Simultaneous multi-threading, of which Intel's hyper-threading is the best known, was an early form of pseudo multi-coreism. A processor capable of concurrent multi-threading includes multiple execution units in the same processing unit. That is the superscalar architecture and can issue multiple instructions per clock cycle from multiple threads. Temporal multi-threading, on other hand, includes single execution unit in the same processing unit, can issue one instruction at a time from multiple threads. And the second one is the symmetric multiprocessing. A symmetric multiprocessor (SMP) is a computer system with multiple identical processors that share memory and connect via bus. Bus contention prevents bus architectures from scaling. As a result, SMPs generally do not compromise more than 32 processors. Because of the small size of the processor and the significant reduction in the requirements for bus width, bus bandwidth achieved by large caches, such symmetric multiprocessor are extremely cost effective, provided that a sufficient amount of memory bandwidth exists. And the third one is distributed computing. A distributed computer, also known as distributed memory multiprocessor, is distributed memory computer system in which the processing elements are connected by a network. Distributed computers are highly scalable. The terms concurrent computing, parallel computing, and distributed computing have a lot of overlap and no clear distinction exists between them. The same system may be categorized both as parallel and distributed. The processors in a typical distributed system run concurrently in parallel. And the fourth one is cluster computing. A cluster is a group of loosely coupled computers that work together closely so that in some respects they can be regarded as single computer. Clusters are composed of multiple standalone machines connected by a network, while the machines in a cluster do not have to be symmetric. Load balancing is more difficult if they are not. The most common type of cluster is Beowulf cluster. And the fifth one is massively parallel computer, grid computing, specialized parallel computers. Programming language for parallel computing. What are the best and prominent programming languages for the parallel computing? From practicing professional viewpoint, simple single processor performance and parallel programming go in hand. Performance is always the key. Even common processors have complex architectures that leverage parallelism in different ways. So performance profiling tools are extremely useful and we would consider as good starting point. After that, conceptually, the starting point is algorithms. Is the algorithm efficient in total operations? These basic questions is commonly surprisingly overlooked. We have speed up
applications by a factor of 1 million just looking at this. Also, simple language considerations are useful. Java, for instance, is horribly slow. C++ or C language are both subjected to point obfuscation, which confounds optimizing compilers. The second algorithm question is the algorithm parallelizable? How scalable is algorithm given the application data sizes? Adam's law and all that. There are lots of important parallel algorithms to cover. Matrix multiplication, sorting, reductions, FFTs, LU decomposition, to name a few. Next comes the architectural consideration. Today, by far, the primary consideration is data movement, whether over a complex memory hierarchy or over a synchronous or asynchronous network. This leads to considerations of data placements and task sizing and placement. Also, task management overhead needs to carefully designed to be low. A topic we believe to be very useful for parallel programming design is data addressing and using data address algorithms to design data placement and data communications for big data problems. No real language issues except for the implied data layouts of optimizing compilers. From the above, C, C++, OpenMP, and MPI are good starting points to reach these concepts. These are all for homogeneous parallel systems. For heterogeneous systems, the next architectural consideration is the relevant parallel architectures and how much each can be exploited. Today, there are two broad classes of parallel apps for heterogeneous systems: HPC type apps and increasingly cloud client server apps. Open standards are generally preferable since they have better chance for longevity. So OpenCL, understanding architectural alternatives becomes an important topic. Pipelines, SIMD, RISC, GPUs, hard to come over them all. Client server apps are, of course, are generally dominated by long asynchronous data communications. So efficient mission code is less important than programming efficiency. So productive languages like Ruby, Java, etc. are the language of the merit. We would guess that this type of topic is an optional topic and that might be well executed in parallel programming class. Through these are very interesting parallel apps in this class like BitTorrent, crowd computing, etc. may be best covered conceptually. If they already know C family language, then C or C++ seems like a logical choice. As others have said, you can use MPI for distributed memory parallelism and OpenMP for shared memory parallelism. This is also working in process called OpenACC that will strive to simplify GPU computing the way OpenMP simplifies multi-core computing. We like to introduce my CS2 students to parallelism using OpenMP and C++ so that they can experience the benefits of parallelism and explore its concepts without hassles of thread management and synchronization. We have them parallelize the arithmetic operations in a matrix class and measure the speed up when they are applied to large matrix. Others we know have their students parallelize image processing operations, example blur, sharpen on very large images. In mid-level core courses like programming languages or operating systems, we develop into different multi-threading mechanisms. Example, explicit in threadings versus implicit in OpenMP. The race conditions, synchronization mechanisms, and message passing systems. In an advanced course, we spend the entire course delving deeper into MPI and OpenMP and introducing SUDA, OpenCL, and MapReduce. When OpenACC matures, we will likely use it in place of SUDA and OpenCL. This structure ensures that every student receive exposure to and experience with parallelism without overwhelming the students at particular level. Those who want to really develop their skills have opportunity in the advanced course. By this, I am ending my session. Thank you.